For the journal entry, I am doing a piece by The Economist. It is arguing to allow Russian draft dodgers into the EU for a number of reasons. Um, it's interesting. I thought it was an interesting piece because with Vladimir Putin imposing new conscriptions, and there's been an exodus of Russians trying to leave Russia. According to the article, they find that countries like France and Germany are open to some countries like France and Germany are open to bringing in those Russian draft dodgers or Russian nationals trying to escape. But importantly, the bordering countries like the Baltic states and Finland um, have taken the complete opposite stance. Finland recently imposed a closed border with Russia. They're not allowing Russian nationals, even with visas, to cross into Finland by land. Um, and since there are no flights into the EU from Russia, it's become an interesting debate. The article essentially argues that it part of the EU is its humanitarian aspect and rejecting these draft dodgers who have no real role that they played in Vladimir Putin's decision making seems unhumanitarian. But on the other hand, the it's hard to ignore the fact that the approval rating for the war is not low. I think it's around 60% more or less, with 30% opposition, mostly from the young. Um, so I think it's a pivotal point, not pivotal point, but it's a interesting dilemma that the EU has to face. Um, as the article suggests, if the rejecting these Russian nationals could play into Vladimir Putin's narrative about the West being against them, and maybe that could embolden him further. It could backfire, but I also do understand that with such high approval ratings, there is a certain skepticism in allowing those types of Russians into the EU, especially in the Baltic states, which have Russian ethnicity. They're particularly more skeptical in something like that. I think it's relevant to the EU in general because it is going to test once again whether the EU's values are hollow or if they stay true to them.